Hi everyone, I'm speaking kind of quietly because it's really late at night and everyone is asleep. So for this week's video, I thought I would do something blindness related because we haven't done that in a while. And I really should have posted this like a week or so ago, but I posted another video instead. So this time, I want to talk about Louis Braille. And if you don't know who Louis Braille is, he is the guy who at age 14 invented Braille. So Louis Braille is not as famous as Helen Keller. Everybody knows who Helen Keller is. She was amazing. But when you say the name Louis Braille, there's not many people who know who that is. So Louis Braille was born in the 1800s. I can't remember the exact date. I'm bad at math. And he was born on January 4th. And by all accounts, he was pretty healthy. And at the age of 3, he stabbed himself in the eye with a tool in his father's workshop. His dad did leather work, I guess, if I'm remembering right. There's a really great book. I'll put it down in the description. It goes through the history of Louis Braille, and it's really fascinating. But basically, he stabbed himself in the eye with a tool in his father's workshop. And I guess the tool wasn't clean, because back then they didn't really clean their tools. And he got an infection in his eye, and it spread to his other eye, and he lost his sight. And the school that he had to go to at that time was not a blindness school like we think of today. It had mold, it had leaks, it had water that would just run down the walls, and he had to be there because that's where society put the people they didn't want. They either put them there, they put them in a circus, or they gave them to chimney sweeps to use as brushes. And I'll just pause here and let that sink in. They gave them to chimney sweeps to use as brushes on chimneys. Yeah. Ow. So he was placed in the school because his parents felt like he would get a good education. And back then, blind people didn't have any specialized system to write. They had to read print, and how they would read print is it was raised so they could feel it. So they would have to feel the print in order to read it. Well, the book that I'm gonna put down in the description goes into detail of how this started as well. And basically he was at the school for a long time, and when he reached the age of 14, he decided that blind people should be able to read something different. They should be able to read and write something different. So he based his off of a system called the night writing system, and it was this way to write coded messages to military people, to the people in your platoon or whatever at night, or so that no one would be able to see them unless it was nighttime. So he based his off of that, and it was not received well. Braille was received well by the blind students in the school because they were like, yes, something we can read books with this, we can read all the different things. But all the teachers were like, no, you're not reading a different language, because that's what they thought it was. They thought it was a different language. So they banned the use of Braille in this school. And they didn't tell anyone that this kid had invented Braille. And so what Louis did is he started teaching kids Braille in secret, because at this point he was starting to become a teacher. So what he did is he taught all the other teachers who wanted to learn, all the blind teachers, he taught them Braille. And he's like, let's teach these kids in the middle of the night. So they invented these things, they're called plates. And that's how they started making Braille, is with these plates. And so at night they would sneak off and they would use these plates and they would make Braille. He was kind of a rebel, if I'm being honest, and I think that's why he's my favorite person to talk about. But he, along with the other teachers, started teaching these kids Braille. And they never read it during the day, so the sighted teachers, they didn't know what was going on. And then several years pass, and this teacher named Joe, or Joseph, comes in and he takes over the running of the school. Excuse me. And he basically sees them teaching and reading Braille one night, and he's like, I want you to teach me. And so he became the first sighted person to learn Braille. And I think that's just absolutely fascinating. Well, what happened is some of these students left the school and they went all over the world. And they started teaching Braille. Well, one of the things that they realized is that in French, there's no letter W. So, when they would teach Braille in English, they would have to not use W. So they invented a way to use W. And actually, if you Google it, there's a Braille pattern, because Braille follows the pattern, and it makes it easier to learn. And if you Google it, you'll find out that the only letter that does not match this pattern is the letter W, and that's why. Meanwhile, back at the school, Louis Braille was doing all sorts of things. He was a very humble guy. He played piano at a local church. He did some other things, but his health was failing, and eventually he was diagnosed with tuberculosis. Remember how I said that the school was in really, really bad shape? That contributed to his diagnosis of tuberculosis. It was inevitable that he would get tuberculosis because everyone who was at that school for the longest time got tuberculosis. Now, back then, it was kind of, I guess, cool to have tuberculosis, and I guess also people didn't realize or didn't care that it was contagious. So Louis Braille continued to teach until he just couldn't anymore. And he died at that school at the age of 37, I want to say, or 32. He died in his 30s at that school. And to me, that's the sad part, because 40 or 50 years after that, Braille started being taught all over the world, and he never lived to see that. And I often wondered what he would have said if he saw Braille being accepted in France, Germany, Britain, the United States. Like, how cool would that have been to invent the thing and then be able to see it? See your life's work being taught. Anyway, I will link to the story. That is my favorite because it gives more history. So if you're into history and you want to learn more about Louis Braille, I will link to the Amazon link down in the description below. And I realize that this is something completely different. But I just find the story of Louis Braille completely fascinating because, like I said, I often wonder what he would think if he saw Braille being taught and accepted all over the world. I mean, it took a long time for some countries to be like, yeah, we can do that. And it's worth it because tons and tons and tons of blind people use Braille every single day. It's on bathroom doors, it's on some restaurant menus, it's on elevators, it's on band-aids, it's on, I don't know. What else is Braille on? Leave a comment down below and let me know. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different. I decided 5 minutes ago that I was going to make this video. I knew I wanted to do something for Louis Braille Day, or Louis Braille's birthday, but I didn't know what it was. Like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter. Both of those are Stephieonyoutube1. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring that notification bell. Follow me on my personal Twitter. It is Stephie2010. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Leave a comment if you have something to say. And I have a question for y'all. And it's a controversial question. I actually got into an argument with an English teacher in high school because of it. Do you think Braille should be capitalized no matter what? Why or why not? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Follow me on Louis Braille. And you can find all of those links I mentioned above on my YouTube page, below the About section, and down in the description. And my email address is Stephieonyoutube@gmail.com, and you can find that in the About section and down in the description. And I will see you all tomorrow. Also, down in the comments, leave any questions, ideas, suggestions, anything like that that you have, and I might film them in a new video. Also, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so, you know, hit that subscribe button, and I'll do a make it video. And I'm trying to hit 100 followers on my Stephieonyoutube1 Twitter. So, if you can help me out with that, please follow that Twitter, and if I hit 100, I will paint my nails red, and I will post the video here. See you all tomorrow.